Hi, Garrett. We're going to talk about your paper. If you follow along, you should be able to see the cursor to have a yellow circle around it, give you an idea of where I'm at and what I'm talking about. First thing, we can go ahead and get rid of your name in the title right here. This is going to be taken care of on the cover page, and we're going to do that tomorrow. Second, as we come down here, the introduction to your piece is nice. It's pretty easy to read, but there are some small things we need to fix. So read along with me, please. Hydraulic fracking is a controversial topic right now. The U.S. is trying to stay away from importing natural gas to save money by drilling it right here in America. That's fine, but it becomes redundant. We are trying to save by drilling right here in America. Hydraulic fracking is sending a huge drill that carries. So now you go ahead and you jump down to this. How about I have a little bit of a transition right here? For those who don't know, hydraulic fracking is sending a huge drill that carries a pipe on its tail down about 2 miles into the ground. The pipe then turns 90 degrees. Why does the pipe turn 90 degrees? In terms of the engineering, why is that necessary? I think that could actually be something really important to talk about, the necessity of breaking up the shale and creating a substance, the liquid, that doesn't exist naturally. Just something I think you should talk about there. The Where is that right here? Okay, once the shale has been fractured, the internal pressure from the rocks formation caused the liquid. Good. Again, as I was just saying, reword some of this so that those two things connect naturally to one another. The 90-degree turn leads us to this. The connection between those two things I don't think is particularly obvious, and those couple sentences don't make sense without it being obvious. Then again, a lack of transition. You jump down here into Maryland non-activist. That phrase is awkward. What is a non-activist? And I know you're contrasting it with activist in the next sentence, but it's still awkward. Second, how did we get from talking about the engineering and the details of fracking into Maryland? So what you might want to go ahead and add is the latest state to take up the issue of fracking is Maryland. Right now, activists on both sides of the issue for and against fracking are debating whether or not to legislatively pass a permanent ban on the process in Western Maryland. Make it sound something like that. In an article called The Economic Benefits of Fracking, it talks about gas prices and how the article talks about it. So you would just say the article, The Economic Benefits of Fracking, talks about blah, 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 blah. You're just being a little bit redundant as you go through this. Think of the article as a person. You would not say, when talking to Jim, Jim was talking about and said. You would just say, Jim said. Anyway. By a group of Yale. Yale's capitalized. People that attend the school will be a little bit upset to see that. Good, this is a nice stat. Is it possible to get some quotes in here though? You have this nice study that you're citing right here, but I would like to see some actual quotes so that I have the weight and authority of that study and not just your synopsis of the study. I think that's an important thing to add. Is this a different article or the same article written at Yale? Because when you simply say an article written by Yale students, you're being repetitive at this point, and I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. New article, same article. I need you to help me out with that. Again, as we come down here, we need some quotes. Is this a good or a bad thing? Why should we care about this? Is there something interesting about this? How much pressure is ginned up? Is this a scientific miracle that they're able to even do this? I'd like something that just gives me a little bit more, well, something with a little more profundity, I think is the word here. How much does it boost the economy? How many jobs does it create? As you're going down through here, I think this is a really good counter argument to try to discuss in terms of why allowing fracking is a good thing. I would tell you to look at places in South and North Dakota. They have had a huge shale boom, to borrow your term, in South and North Dakota that has created well, to be honest with you, I don't know how many jobs. That's why I would want you to find out. My guess is thousands of jobs, but maybe it's hundreds of thousands of jobs. I actually don't know the answer. But I would tell you to look into those areas. You should be able to find some good information there. So what you're providing me here with so far is a lot of background, talking about what fracking is, why potentially it's bad, and why it could potentially be good. So then you need to be able to take a position saying that people in Maryland should be doing this. And if the people in Maryland should be doing this, then you need to introduce complicating issues and explain why those things that need to be done are not necessarily happening. You're off to a good start. For the most part, your paper is easy to read, even though you are redundant at times and we need to smooth out some of your writing. I think you're on the right track. I think you're doing all the right stuff. Really, we just need to be able to polish this up a little bit. All right, Garrett. Talk to you tomorrow.